Boom. Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classics of Cinematics, and I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yeah, folks, and today we're going to be talking about another classic film. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Tim Burton's Beetlejuice from 1988. And this is a horror comedy film, and in this film, Barbara and Adam die in a car accident. They find themselves stuck haunting their country residents, unable to leave the house. When the unbearable Deetzes and their daughter Lydia buy the home, the Maitlands attempt to scare them away without success. Their efforts attract Beetlejuice, a rambunctious spirit whose help quickly becomes dangerous for the Maitlands and innocent Lydia. And it's a Warner Brothers production. And this cast pretty stacked, man. We got a lot of legends here, or soon to be legends. Got Michael Keaton playing Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder as Lydia, Geena Davis, and Alec Baldwin. They make up the Maitlands. We also get Jeffrey Jones and Catherine O'Hara. They play the Deetzes family that moves in. Then we got Glenn Shadix, who's their loyal helper, I guess. He does a lot of stuff.
He's like Delia's confidant.
Delia's assistant, business partner, aide, whatever. He does a lot of stuff in this thing, man.
Wingman.
Yeah. And those are pretty much our main characters. There's a lot of other people that pop up in here that do other interesting things. This film is known for its comedy, its dark humor vibes, as well as just pretty cool character and production designs, that go on in this film, which is, kind of a Tim Burton specialty, when this came out. Absolutely. So let's get into this thing, man.
I mean, first off, this is the perfect example of what a horror comedy should be. You know what I'm saying? Because it gives you both and doesn't let up on either side of the fence. But I love this concept where, it's kind of like a complete role reversal of what we would get from like a film like The Poltergeist, where in this, the ghosts in Adam and Barbara, they are the good ones. Yeah. And the Deetzes, the ones, the family that move in, they're the ones that, they're like the awful people that are just uprooting everything and creating all these problems for the ghosts that just kind of want to live their afterlife in peace and happiness. And, I think that's really cool. And because they took this approach, the way this story is given and digested, it's completely told through those two characters, through Adam and Barbara. You know what I'm saying? Like, as we watch them navigate through their untimely death, which happens 5 to 7 minutes,
pretty quick, man.
5-7 minutes in the beginning of the film, and then as they're trying to figure out how to
I would have got out of that
else. What? Me too.
Unless I got knocked unconscious on the way in. Well, I'd have got out of that.
Dude, and then, that was like the smallest dog ever. How that joint was holding up the car. You know what I'm saying?
That kind of made sense, with the principles of leverage and all that. But yeah, that was kind of cool because it happens so fast. And even the way it's presented, we don't even realize at first that they're gone. The way, they pop back into the world. So that's kind of cool, man. But like you said, it does flip that idea of being haunted. Usually in a film like this, we're trying to get to the root of the haunting. Yeah. So to see it from the other point of view as, the haunters and seeing that there's a goal to it, because that's kind of interesting. The fact that we see some of the afterlife from the specter or the ghost's side. That's kind of cool, man.
And also, most of the time in these situations, the ghosts don't cross over because they're begrudged in some kind of way. They're unhappy, whereas these two, Adam and Barbara, they're like the nicest people ever, whether they're alive or dead.
It gives us a different idea on that concept, whereas, I like that idea, especially when you get into the guide for the recently deceased. It has the rule book and all that stuff that explains the rules in this world. Which our characters begrudgingly don't read. I'm like, you guys got all the time in the world, and I think that would have solved a lot of the problems that would later on develop with the Beetlejuice characters. So that's kind of funny.
But then again, it's a testament to human nature. How many people order something and then crack the box open, try and build it, and don't read the instructions, and then have to break it down and rebuild it again?
It's funny to me because it comes up later on. Everyone else they encounter, you didn't read the book? You didn't read the manual? What are you doing?
That's what it's there for.
We're going to get, read the fine print, bro. Yeah. So that's kind of cool, man. And I think, that leads into the characters that make up this fun and interesting story. It's crazy because I totally forgot Alec Baldwin was in this. You know what I'm saying? Playing
doesn't look like he does now. Like,
I thought it would be some other actor that I didn't remember who played, because it's been a while since I saw this. But we get Geena Davis, who was definitely popping at the time. She was a big, figure at the time.
But
so that's kind of cool to see them become this couple, and they're immediately likable. You know what I'm saying?
So easy to root for. And the thing of it is, too, is I like that, even though they are standalone actors and actresses, they move as a unit. Like, we watch them move in unison throughout this whole film. Like, there is no solo airtime for either one of them. And it just kind of really enhances this, like, togetherness that they are portraying for this story to work in this capacity. You know what I'm saying? But then, for as much good and wholesomeness they bring into it, I like how they really try to overhit the nail with, like, the Deets being so unlikable. And it starts with Catherine O'Hara as Delia, like this, just like over eccentric, odd artist that just, very self-centered and just so self-absorbed and like trying so hard to be, on this like separate island as an artist, and she's really just kind of making herself look worse as a person.
Yeah, I feel like the Deetzes are what we look at as just the bad aspects of classism.
Yes.
The Charles isn't so bad as she is. He just seems like a rich guy who has this money and he wants to, retire away in this fantasy house. But she's totally indulging in this higher society.
Yes.
Like I said, the classism and I'm better than you. And like he'd be fine just being in his office, messing around, listening to his music.
And he doesn't want to change the house up. But then
he bought it because it looked like it does,
But then, where he starts to, show his horns is when he starts planning on buying the whole town. Like, he has ideas like, well, I'm a millionaire, I can buy this whole town. These people, they don't even know what their assets are worth. So like you said, the classism is in full effect. But yeah, Charles, he's not really a bad person in this movie, but he's a bad person in real life. So we don't give a lot. we don't give a lot of shine to no Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones in the wild, but man's got a really weird case out there, man.
Yeah, man. And there's a reason why he's not in part 2 either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then that moves us forward to Lydia Deetz, where this is Winona Ryder's character, and she is the most likable of the Deets, because, she's also like, kind of odd to herself, a loner, has the whole goth vibe. But what really enhances her character arc is she's the one who's able to communicate and can see Adam and Barbara. So, of course, they befriend her and she befriends them. And it kind of like just helps, the story be told as it's progressing.
That is an interesting aspect because, the Maitlands, their best advice they got is, why don't you just scare them off? Haunt this place. And which becomes tricky because most people can't see ghosts. You can't see them. So except, Winona's character here. But also it cracks me up because I'm like, yo, you guys, the book has tips and tricks in it. You didn't even read the book, and you have no imagination, because if they can't see me, what else can I do? Maybe I can make things go bump in the night. Maybe I can knock stuff over. Maybe I can, make creaky noises that freak you out. Like I don't think they tried enough, bro. Like, it pissed me off a little bit.
The best idea they came up with was when they first find like these fancy sheets with little flowers on them and stuff. They put the sheets on. It looks like how a 7-year-old would dress up for Halloween.
Yeah, like how you think of ghosts.
And they're making like boo sounds like opera singers. It's like, come on, man, that's not. That's not gonna cut it.
It's kind of funny, man. Like, I don't know. I think that's cool too, in a way. It helps their characterization because they're kind of innocent people. They're do-gooders.
They're harmless.
It's hard for them to think of ways to even harm someone else, or disturb them. So it makes sense that they would have trouble, being efficient haunters.
Yes, exactly. They are not scaring nobody, especially not Lydia. But then, and like I said, just shout out to Otho, because he is just
he brings a lot of attitude to this, man. A lot of character.
His energy is great. Like just being that little voice in Delia's ear, like egging her on, and then like because she likes the fact that he seems to be her number one fan, she gives him free reins to explore his own artistic talents or what he thinks he has. Dude,
well, he kind of impines that he has, or I don't know if it was him or the other guy that was like, oh, yo, I haven't made no money off your art. You know what I'm saying? So I think that opens up this she feels inadequate in that department, even though she keeps trying. And it allows her to rub elbows with other people, but eventually that's going to fade away if you can't produce no results. But this situation, you know, once they kind of realize that these ghosts are trying to haunt them, and they immediately come, how can we monetize this? Yeah. That becomes the thing with them. How can we monetize the Maitlands, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because we can definitely we can make something off it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, then with all that going on, all these failed attempts at trying to scare them out of the house, and you know, just like I said, it was fail after fail after fail. Then we ended up, you know, getting our star of the show in Michael Keaton, who plays Beetlejuice, and he's the one where, you know, it's wild because like. He when we first see him, he's like looking through the recent, you know, the newspaper to find out who just died.
he's like, oh, let me check the want ads.
Yeah, let me check all the help wanted ads. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to make some bread. And you know, he sees them, and first thing he said, yeah, they look foolish too. So you know what I'm saying? You see his little commercials and stuff, and pretty much he sells himself as being a bioexorcist, someone that can help ghosts that can't scare people, you know, out of their where they're at, and he can help do that and do it right. And so, you know, and it's wild because Michael Keaton actually said that when he was first offered this role, he refused it because it just didn't make sense to him. He was like, nah, I don't want no parts of this. And then he ended up sitting down with Tim Burton and watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then that's when he changed his mind and was like, you know, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And it was a great choice because, I mean, he was kind of like the sole inspiration for how everything that became what we see as Beetlejuice became. I mean, he had heavy influence on the look, the dress, the crazy hair and everything. He told the makeup designers he wanted his hair to look like he just stuck his finger in a light socket and he wanted to have mold everywhere.
He looks like a scumbag, yo.
Yeah. And then
he acts like a scumbag.
His mannerisms, I mean, that's all like, you know, his own working. And then that raunchy dialogue, dude, Michael Keaton ad-libbed 90% of his role. You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of just really works itself out for him. And that's why, you know, he became one of the, you know, he is an iconic, you know, horror figure, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that genre, you know what I'm saying, very well known and, you know, has a rightful place on that list. But, you know, what he brings to this movie is then, you know, it gives us someone else to dislike, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, gives us more of a reason.
Definitely dislikable.
Yes, gives us more of a reason to root for Adam and Barbara. Like,
bro, y'all, this mug don't get up out of here. Yeah, but he's immediately just crazy. Like, when he first meets him, he's like trying to peek under Barbara's dress. Yeah. I'm like, yo.
He's like, yo,
he should have been dumped out, and we got up out of here.
He asked Adam, he was like, yo, you think I got a chance with her? I mean, he's like, dog, that's his wife.
There's no reason this should have went any further, bro. Yeah, it is a wild, you know, turn of events, man, in this thing. But that, you know, as far as the characters, man, he definitely sealed that, you know.
And it's crazy because he locked it in with a little less than 15 minutes of on-screen time in a movie that is an hour and 32 minutes long.
Yeah, it's named after him.
It's named after him, dog. So, you know, that's just, you know, that's great for that. But, you know, yeah, like you said, when it comes to the characters, you know, what really makes them stand out is this effects and the makeup work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely some cool stuff, man. Like when we get that scene where they kind of meet with their rep in the underworld,
Juno.
So they have to go into the office in the afterlife world, and that's kind of really a fun part of this film for me because like we kind of get to see Tim Burton's imagination of what this world looks like, and it looks like chaos, man. It's crazy, but it's also kind of cool and seeing how a lot of the people are depicted in the ways in which they died.
Yes.
You know, kind of in the state that they died, which means the Maitlands got kind of lucky. So
they did.
Like compared to how some of the other people look. Well, and maybe there's a thing too, maybe the longer you're there, the more dead you look. I don't know, because some people, the only thing they've got going on is maybe the bluish gray skin tone and they otherwise look normal, but other ones look like jacked up.
Yeah, like Juno references that you got, it was the receptionist. She references that you get 3 visits to your caseworker over the span of 125 years. So some of them probably were more on the back end, but no, you're absolutely right, dude. Robert Short, they said he was responsible for creating the creatures and the makeup effects, and he really brings the death to life. Like when you're in that waiting room, dog, and like you see, you know, the dude with the chicken bone in his throat, or the little like the little burnt up.
Get that out, though?
You know,
like since he's been in there, like I mean, it's just permanently stuck. I can't get a little nip tuck and just pull that on
something,
out.
Or like I mean, like the scuba diver that had the shark still hooked to his leg.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
so both of y'all died. Like
exactly. The shark choked on your knee, and you died from losing blood. You know what I mean?
My dude was the flat guy,
the file clerk. I was just about to talk about
him. I'm like, can he even move his arms? And they put my man to work, and then like,
I like. When he sees him, yo, he's like, yo, how do I look? And he was like, there's no mirrors on this side because they just got him like up on like a hanger. But then, you know, I also like I said, I love Juno, the caseworker. She was just awesome. You know, apparently she got her neck slit because every time she's smoking, smoke just
cancer
pouring out of it or something. And she was played by Sylvia Sidney. Yeah. You know, and then
she was funny, man. She was
funny because she's straightforward. She's like
her attitude.
Yeah, she's like, you know, look, you guys are gonna have to start trying a little harder. You're gonna have to get better with your scare
That's what
work.
I'm saying. They didn't even read the book. Like, what else you got to do? I understand you don't want these people in here, but they're gonna be here a while. Like make a plan.
And then, you know, I like
learn the rules.
I like how she scolds them too. Because then the second time she's like, "Look, y'all are messing up all the way across the board. Now they got pictures of you. You let Otho take your book. They're still in your house." And you conjured up Beetlejuice once. I told you to leave him alone. So she was like, you know, and then
the joint that got me is when she calls him in and he's like, "Bring your book with you." He's like, "Oh, we didn't bring it," and everyone's like.
Yeah,
that's like the very last guy. He's like,
like y'all messing up. That's like going to school without your binder, dog. Like, what you here for? But you know, it's wild too, because you know, like we spoke on when they go to see Juno. It's kind of wild. They portray it almost like it's like a social service.
It looks like a shitty DMV or like I don't want to end the wait times.
Probation office or something.
My man pulled that number out. It's like your number 4,000,004. And like, all right, that does seem long, but what is the actual wait time though? Like, because if I'm already in the office, how long do I gotta wait? I know it doesn't look like that many people was in there in front of me, but how long are these cases? There's a weird part too in the beginning where I think he first goes outside and he sees the worm and it's like instant and he jumps back in and she's like, "Where were you? You were gone for 2 hours."
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. So maybe, I don't know if being in that realm is just a different time zone than real life. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of
then when they see Juno, when they come back and the house is different and she's there, she was like, they were like, "Yo, this is different." She was like, "Yeah, y'all were gone for 2 months. I'm getting tired of waiting." So yeah, there's definitely a distorted time lapse that's going on. But you know, not for nothing, one of my favorite settings in this is when they go into Adam's little miniature sculpt of the town. I thought that was just really cool. Kind of gives you that like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids vibe, but it works so well because of the attention to detail. Like you see the little rubber grass and everything, and
when they dig up
Beetlejuice the first time, it's like, you know, the cardboard for the dirt and everything, and he kicks over the tree and whatnot. But I just thought that was a really cool, you know, extra, you know, little something extra to put in that, you know, just added a little bit of something good to the movie as well. And it kind of shows that Beetlejuice, you know, even though he's in the house, he can't just roam free. You know what I'm saying? He is still confined just like all the other ghosts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like definitely has a unique look, man. That endures, and like I said, man, this is just a hallmark of Burton's work, especially in the early days. You know, when he was doing more like really more experimental kind of you know, storytelling like this, and even the animated series pretty much picked this look. But there's also stuff you see in this that will be a precursor to how things looked in like A Nightmare Before Christmas. So that's kind of cool, man.
Oh, speaking of. You know, the part where when Beetlejuice comes up from the ground and he's got that little carousel hat on his head, on the top is a little skeleton, and that is the exact same skeleton as a Jack skeleton, because apparently Tim Burton said he was drawing that skull image since 1982, and so, you know, he drew it multiple times. put it on Beetlejuice's hat, and then 1992 decided that would be the main face for Jack Skellington. But also what I really like is the score. You know what I'm saying? Because this is another one where he gets together, he collabs with Danny Elfman, and every time they get together, it's like the way that Elfman can put sounds to Vision or to Tim Burton's visions. It's amazing. Like we've seen it done in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. We saw it done in this. We see it in Batman 1989. Then we double back and get it in Batman Returns. So,
yeah, it's definitely interesting because it's been a long time, like maybe since the 80s, 90s since I seen this, and that song comes on and immediately I'm like, it's so familiar, it's like, boom, that's the Beetlejuice theme,
Yeah, but then also, like I said, we get a great score, but then that dinner party scene is one of the most memorable parts of this film when they're playing that what is it?
The
daylight come, we want to go home. Yeah, and they start doing, I think it's like the Calypso dance or something. Yeah, that's wild, dog.
It's crazy. That song was in another movie I saw the other day, man. When I watched Strange Darling, they had a scene that featured that song in it. Yeah. But yeah, man, like this thing is one of the ones, man. It's definitely, late 80s vibes, but it's still cool, man. So I'm kind of curious to see what angle they're going to approach with this new version. This thing did spawn a animated version. Yes. And it's kind of interesting because Beetlejuice's character was retconned a little bit. Like they made him a good guy for the animated series, when that was rolled out with him and Winona Ryder's character. I can't remember much else about it. I know he had a lot more sandworms and they went on adventures, and
it kind of had the same feel. If anybody's ever watched The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, it was kind of like that before that cartoon came out, because that's more like a late 2000s thing, but had the same feel. She's walking around, got a ghost best friend, and just kind of getting into mischief and all that stuff. But then also, we got video games. There was a lot of action figures that came out, little toys and stuff. Like I had the one where when you squeezed Beetlejuice's legs, the snakes came out of the top of his head. So there was another one where you squeeze his legs and his head spins around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely a pop culture, milestone.
Yeah, and it did good in the box office too. On a $15 million budget, it grossed 74.7 mil. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, just bringing back one more thing I'd like to say about the special effects, the makeup and everything. Only $1 million was allotted for the effects of this film. So Tim Burton chose to take this more like, B-movie approach to all of the special effects to kind of just add to the feel of that. And plus, on a limited budget, you know what I mean? But made it work because, it still looks amazing.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Well, I think we can wrap this one up, folks, man. We're going to catch you next time. Make sure you check out this movie again. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications for these videos. Tell your friends about us. And follow us on Instagram at Classic Cinematics. And this is Monk. You catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. High rewatchability value for this film. And this is Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me on the next show.
All right, so we out of here. Peace. Boom.